and daughter dropped it off earlier. I think they said it's got a standby light and probably no picture. It's not that old, a couple of years old, 3 years old. Backlight shouldn't have gone on this, but it'd be interesting to see what sort of backlight Samsung are putting in these things. But let's just have a look first. It may be a screen issue. I was told there was a red light that blinks when she points a remote control at it. Well, we've got the red light blinking no matter what happens. But yes, it does blink when you point a remote control at it. It's gone to standby. Oh, it hasn't gone to standby. Oh, this could be a screen issue. I've just tried to turn it on. Actually, when it blinks, it's only the one blink. Oh, it's gone to standby. Okay, let's switch it out of standby. Do we get some sort of image on screen? Is it the backlights? It's gone back to standby. Let's try again. Back to standby. And now it's gone off. One blink code. One blink code on current Samsungs is a board issue. A 2 blink code is screen issue. But just to be doubly sure, I mean, we've got to take the back off and have a look anyway. It goes to standby and then it goes off. I think we've got a board error here, and I think this is one of the, I call them mono boards. They're all in one boards. Samsung have got quite cheap and nasty, as we know. So it's going to be a board needed for this, I'm guessing at this stage, but I want to disconnect the screen and I want to see it doing the same thing. If we disconnect the screen and then the TV acts like it's coming on, then we know it's a screen fault. What's it doing now? Okay. Very strange kind of one blink code. Weird, huh? Let's have a look inside. There's not going to be much to see inside these. I don't even know if this is a smart TV. I'm guessing that it is. I'll just check the model number again. If it's just a 5000 or a 51, they tend not to be smart. But if it's a 55 or a 56, they tend to be the smart numbers. Oh, it is a smart because the remote control that she did give me with this has got that on it. Okay, so let's... Oh, it's got quite an old T-Con for a newish model. Or oldish design T-Con. I've turned some lights off so you can see the standby light. There's the standby light here. And I've obviously disconnected the T-Con there. I think that's enough light to see. No change, I don't think. No backlights coming on. And I've got a funny feeling the backlight's going to go into its little blinking frenzy in a second. Yes. So the good news is it's not a screen issue, it's a board issue. These mono boards normally can't be repaired, but I'm going to check the obvious, like the diodes, and well, it's not going to be a fuse, but I'll check around for diodes and the main FET there just to see if excuse me, just to see if they're out of whack. I mean, the fact that we've got 3 paralleled up diodes there, which look like Schottky 5 amps, very similar to what Samsung used to use in some of their older boards, and of course, very renowned for failing with Vestels. And on Samsungs, when they did fail, you would get a blink code. Let's see. No, that would have been a nice fix, wouldn't it, diodes? Just to get this up and running again. I'm going to put my glasses on and see if I can see anything that's buoyant. I've just disconnected the Wi-Fi. Sometimes on the Samsung, I'm doing fault finding as if it's a 10-year-old Samsung TV. Sometimes the Wi-Fi cards on Samsung would fail, so I've disconnected the Wi-Fi card. But as you can see, the standby light is still flashing. I think it's software. I think the firmware's gone. I really do. I think it's got corrupted firmware. Because everything seems to be working on it as it should. It's just not finding the software to engage. Remember, we have a power supply and a main board in one on this. Okay, so I've just checked on a Samsung bulletin board. Because these main boards are not available, which always gets me suspicious, thinking that it is a common fault, and it is a common fault. Even though this is the first time I've seen it, but it's the first time for everything. There's an IC on the board somewhere, so I suppose it's 1, 2. It's one of those 3. It's probably a firmware chip, but Samsung are sending them out to repair agents, which is good. So I shall wait for it to arrive and stick it in. And as if by magic, the IC arrives. So I'm just going to solder this in. The only stipulation it came, well, they sent 2 Samsung, so if the first one doesn't work, you then put in the second one. It's kind of bizarre. And don't use a hot air station, use a soldering iron at a low temperature. So that's the only stipulations I've got. So anyway, bear with me. We'll take the old one out and stick a new one in. I was at one point quite a massive Samsung fan, especially with some of their later plasmas and the early LED TVs, and then everything just started, well, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, it all started going wrong. And, you know, looking at this TV with this one mono board setup, and in general, just the way the TV is built, I'm not too sure what backlights are in here, but I bet you they've scraped on them. This is classed as an entry-level TV, and it really does look like it. And apparently this is a common fault. It's such a shame, because they did make some really nice sets, quite robust. Some money was spent on them, but it seems like over the last 5 years they've employed someone to save as much money as possible. Anyway, originally we got a 1 blink code. I've now got a standby light, it looks like. So let's just turn it on and see if it's going to come on, and it isn't. It's going back to standby. Oh no, it's not. It's me. Give the chip time. Okay. Just needed a couple of seconds for the EEPROM to dump the information to the chip, and that's it. It's come on. I'll just make sure it goes off and comes back on again first time. And I'll put it through its paces as I normally do. Let's just switch it off. It's got a standby light. Switch on. Yeah, okay. So it's become a common fault on a TV which is just a couple of years old. Needs a new firmware chip. And then hopefully it's going to last for years.